Hi, you three. Happy Tuesday. We've got some more angles. We started looking at angles yesterday, and angles are whenever two lines can meet, and it measures the degree or amount of space or turn's a better word. It measures the amount of turn between those two lines. Now, to start today's lesson, you can see you've got some 11 times tables, the song and the quiz, to see how you're going with that. And your first activity is actually creating something today. Now, a right angle is when two lines meet, and we call this perpendicular, but it's when they are perfectly square. The angle in between them is perfectly square. So you're going to create a right angle fish and do some exploring to start your lesson. And then you're going to come down and have a look at this video. After you finish the video, you have to watch that first. You've got a little slideshow to watch. And hopefully it works and it looks something like this. Right angles, and you can see down the middle column of these shapes, I found some real life examples of where lines meet to make different angles. And you can see on the cross, there are quite a lot of different angles there. There's right angles on the corners and right angles on the insides as well. Here's some brackets, and they're at right angles. They're at 90 degrees, right angles. This sign, well, it's like a square that's twisted, but the top bit there is a right angle. This is a right angle, this one here. Railway crossing sign, you can see a right angle. And when it's 3 o'clock on the clock, it is a right angle as well. It's just past on my watch, nearly the same. But there's two other kinds of angles that you can see in this picture. And if it doesn't quite, I think this is an easy way to remember this one. If it doesn't quite make a right angle, and it doesn't matter which way you turn it, it's still a right angle because it's got the same space between there, a nice square kind of corner. If it's smaller than that, it's little. So it's a cute angle, a cute little angle. So that's an easy one to remember. These ones that are smaller, this one, smaller than 90, it's a an acute angle. And you can see there's a crocodile up here because his jaw is making an acute angle. A slice of pizza, a give way sign, the corners of the triangle are acute angles. Here's a crazy car making an acute angle, and the bird's beak is making an acute angle. Now, the other option we have, so we've got acute, small, little angles, acute angles, a right angle, but if it's bigger than that on this side, it's called an obtuse angle. That's a harder one to remember. Show me how you say obtuse. It's OBTUSE, obtuse. And obtuse is bigger than 90, but not straight. So bigger than 90, this is an easy angle to remember. That's called a straight angle because it makes a straight line. But, so we've got acute, right, obtuse, and straight. And you can see some of these acute and obtuse angles in the picture. We've got a fan that's open. We've got a spider's web. There's the windmill, has obtuse angles where the lines meet, the blades of the windmill. This is an incredible stretch. Dancers who are very good. Alas, I am not a very good dancer. Mine are acute angles, my high kicks, but this baseball player, my goodness, his leg makes an obtuse angle. And the time on the clock. Now, when I look at my clock right now, I wonder what kind of angle you think that is between the hands. It's not very much, is it? That's an acute angle. It's a little one. So the hands on the clock, they keep changing. And so you can see the different angles that are there. Now, on the first page, you can see right angle, acute angle, smaller, and an obtuse angle, bigger than 90. And there's that real life examples again. Now, your first activity today is to have a look. You'll need a piece of paper and you need to look. Question number 1, what kind of angle is that? If you think it's a right angle, you need to write R. If you think it's an acute angle, you need to write A for acute. And if you think it's bigger than 90, you need to write O for obtuse. So we've got 6 there, and when you go to the next line, there is 6 more for you to see. R for right, O for obtuse, A for acute. Now you've got some sentences here, some statements. The first one says an angle the same as, well, that means equal to 90 degrees. Now a right angle is 90 degrees. So that means it has something that looks like this. The next one, this shape only has acute angles. So they're all very small angles where the lines meet. A shape with 8 obtuse angles. So they're all bigger than 90. A quadrilateral, quad like a quad bike. Quad means 4. A quadrilateral with one acute angle, so it's only got one small one. An angle less than 90 degrees, well, we know that's an acute angle. A quadrilateral with 2 acute, 2 small, and 2 obtuse, 2 big angles. An obtuse angle. A quadrilateral with 2 right angles, so it'll have 2 of those. And an angle of 180 degrees. Now, 180 is a straight line like this. So if we've got 90 and 90 and we put it together, that makes 180. So if I had a piece of paper, which I should have just here. So if I have a piece of paper and I fold it in half, so here on this side, if you have a look, I've got a line, and on this side is 90 degrees, it makes a perfect square, and on this side is another 90. Well, 90 and 90 makes 180, and if I put them together, it's a straight line across there. So that means there's a straight line, an angle of 180 degrees. Now, we've gone through those, and when we have a look, we need to have a look at these shapes. You know, that one's a triangle, but we're going to be talking about the angles for the corners. This is an angle, 2 lines meeting together, and I wonder, that looks acute to me. We've got 4 sides, some right angles and some an acute and an obtuse up there. 8 sides, and they're all obtuse, so all bigger than 90. This looks like a right angle. It's a nice corner. And the way that the big clue in maths they tell us is instead of doing one of these round lines, they do a square line if it's 90 degrees or 2. They put a little square in the corner, and that's what shows you it's perfectly square, it's 90 degrees. An obtuse angle, bigger than 90. A kite, and it has 2 shorter sides and 2 longer sides, but let's look at those corners, that's what's important. A parallelogram, and there's a straight angle. So it was 90, it kept going, and those 2 lines, so for that bottom light blue one, starts like this, the 2 lines, and they are that far apart from each other. So it's half turn, 2 quarters, a half turn. Now, what you'll need to do for the next one is you need to look at this shape and you need to pick the answers that are true that would go with this shape. So we just went through. I can't see any squares in those corners. There are no right angles. And the shapes keep going like that. A shape that only has acute angles. Well, it's not a shape. It's 2 lines. It's 2 lines. But you could pick that one. It only has an acute angle. That's the only kind of angle that's there. A shape with 8. Well, this doesn't have 8 sides, 8 angles. So you need to find the one that is true. There might be more than one that's true, so have a careful look. And you need to keep going through for all of the shapes. Now, when you finish that, you're going to have a go at making a different kind of right-angled fish. That's a very fast activity. I'll just remind you to start any origami activity. It's made from paper squares. And this is a paper rectangle. So what you'll need to do before you start is a great way to make a square is to fold one side over until it meets the other side completely. So when you can make a nice straight line from both sides where they match up into a nice point, just like that, you can get your scissors and cut off the bottom bit because that's the bit that's stopping it from being a perfect square and making it a rectangle because the rectangle has some longer lines. So then you can cut this bit off and make yourself a square. And you can have a go at making a different kind of right-angled fish. We're looking a lot at shapes and angles. That's why there's some shape activities today. And then you'll find down the bottom, there's a tangram puzzle. I think you'll like this one. When you click on this, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. And the activities get increasingly hard. So they get more challenging as they go along. And if you would like to have a go at building some different things, the second Mathagon, looks like this. And you can see there's a tangram, but down the bottom too, there's some pictures and there's some different categories you can make basic. Animals. I'll just move this screen so I can see. Got animals, geometry, and advanced. So you can spin these around. So when you get the shapes, you can turn them around. And you can move them around the screen to try and copy the pictures and see if you can make them, which is very cool. And the last activity for today is some 11 times tables challenges. Now, if you're having problems with the Google Doc, I've put it down the bottom as an attachment so you can open on it there. And I hope you're doing really well with your angles. And angles Angles are where two lines meet, and it's the degree between them, or the amount of turn between those two lines. And that's what we're looking at. We're focusing on right angles, acute angles, a cute little angle, obtuse angle, and a straight angle. Straight's pretty easy to remember, I think. And the cute little ones are too. It's not cute though, it's acute. A cute little angle. I hope you have a great job. Remember to send me your work when you're done. Well done, you three.